I don't know if anybody, for those that know Dave, I feel like whenever something like this comes up, Dave gets excited. Like, it's almost like he wants it to happen so that he can.
Who doesn't? If you're not a fucking prepper, you ain't a prepper if you don't want shit to hit the fan,
he
man.
He just wants to be Will Smith, I Am Legend, just walking with a dog, like looking through Walmart to find shit and bring back home when they got hangers.
Bro Church is a highly sophisticated podcast hosted by highly sophisticated people. If you believe that, I'll tell you another.
That's how we started. Hey, I got a red light.
All right. The levels look good.
Yeah.
A lot of people, not a lot of people tuned in. A couple people were like, there's something wrong with the audio. I said, yeah, I know. Dave was peaking. And I was trying to turn it down on my end. It didn't make sense. And then here I realized, as I was editing, I was like, why are there was no wave for your vocals. It was just one solid dark bar. Like it was constantly peaking.
That's normally what it is to begin with. So
I was like, how do I turn
normally
this
it's just
down?
loud. Like I'm
All
trying
right,
to like I'm setting I'm looking at my bar, not my end, and it looks pretty good. I'm not red yet. So hopefully that works out.
It's all good. I can actually control your levels a little bit on Riverside too.
Oh, nice. Set it to normal, not Puerto Rican.
I was about to say Puerto Rican inside, not outside, but it don't matter because it's the same.
It don't matter. It's the same in and out.
All right. So let me get my notes together here. It looks like we're good. We're rolling.
Yeah, got my notes on this side.
I actually printed them out at work and then I forgot them. So I was like, well, I guess I'll use my laptop.
Well, there goes a tree. Tree huggers are crying right now.
Yeah. There's somebody right now going, this fucker actually printed it out and then forgot it.
I know, like they're probably
the paper's just
out there shedding it.
Dude, it's like, remember working at FedEx and they would like print a bill just for you to scan it and throw out the bill?
Yo, seriously, the amount of paperwork that I have to throw out just so I can get these guys on the road is insane, dude. I feel it in my heart every time. I'm like, there goes another tree.
Okay. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Got my little drinky drink.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, hey.
This is whiskey. It's not Whistle Pig. It's something new. I don't know what the name is. Yeah. I didn't look at it when I poured it.
Mine's just in Mike Ike's in a glass cup that I probably didn't wash yet.
It's a mason jar.
It's a mason jar.
You got the old school moonshine jug.
Yeah, exactly. It's my measurement cup. You know when you say add a cup, this is what it is. It's probably not accurate, but oh well. I remember I had a friend at work that wanted to learn how to make Spanish rice. And he's like, what's the recipe? And I'm like, well, I use 3 or 4 cups of rice. And he's like, all right, what's the measurements for your seasoning? I'm like, well, a little bit of
just sprinkle it.
And he's like, well, what's the measurement? I'm like, use a spoon. He's like, a teaspoon? No, a spoon. Just grab a spoon from your drawer, anyone, fill it up with seasoning.
Anyone will work.
He's like, and now he's like, dude, when you say a cup, what do you mean? I'm like, a coffee cup, a freaking coffee cup. He's like, that's not a measurement. That's not a cup. I'm like, it is to me, right? What do you call it? It's a cup. So,
dude, that's what we had was like a coffee mug sitting in the container of rice, just ready for you to scoop it out.
Just grab it out. Hey, that's the cookbook for the life, man. That's when you're cooking with Ghana,
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get this episode started. First and foremost, I think we fucking had a great, phenomenal first episode.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously we don't have Joe Rogan numbers. One day we will, but considering what we're doing and just kind of throwing the first episode together last minute, a lot of feedback. I was actually kind of surprised at the feedback because I was kind of wondering, like, how are people going to take the banter who don't know us? The people that don't know us, are they going to understand? Yeah. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. What's going to come down the pike, I don't know, but I can only imagine. But thank you to everybody that tuned in, that was enjoying the banter and what we're trying to do. We did a couple new things in the past 2 weeks since we've been off because of the vacations, and I want to get into that as well. I went to Florida, dropped my daughters off at my mom's, went to Florida, came back. The girls are with my mom, you and Ronnie and the boys. We're chilling with the girls, and there's a lot of beach fun there. And when I came to drop them off with Alexandra, I was sitting with you, and I was breaking down for you and showing you the AI apps that I use. And there was a generated image. I was showing you how to do that. And there was a couple images that resembled, it was a woman that we had in our Facebook cover. And I said, man, it's crazy how I did that in like a week apart, and they both look like the same person. It would be pretty cool if we had like a consistent person or people that represented Bro Church in a virtual sense that wasn't us, but they exist, and when you look at them, you know what you're getting. And so for those that are following us on socials, that's where the trio of Gina, Frank, and James came out of. Dave and I was giving him questions. I was asking him questions. I said, I need you to think of a name for this. How should we create this person? And until we kind of had like a representation of all different people, for the most part, it's hard with 3 people, but I feel like what we're doing there, it's kind of like, I've never done it before. I don't know what I'm doing, but I feel like we got a nice little thing going here that those 3 characters we can actually start doing some cool shit, comic books and stories and audio dramas, and this kind of ties into the AI conversation from last episode, where it was like, what you can do with this shit, like the sky's the fucking limit, dude.
I mean, you can create a sub story, as you're waiting for the next episodes to come out, or want a filler, you can just read up on the stories of these 3 characters. And I don't even know what the story's about, and I'm even like, wow, that's gonna be cool. I could just see it off of everything that you're posting with all the images. It's already starting to tell a story, and I'm like, I see it. I'm like, that shit right there is a filler, right there is gonna keep me entertained between episodes, because like you said, maybe in the future we create a comic book or even just a regular book to read, or just a storyline in between, and just the journey of their adventures. You never know what's going to happen. So, and then that's the other thing we can talk about. Tune in next time. On Bro Church for blah blah blah. So when you came up with the idea, and I'm like, dude, that sounds freaking amazing, because I could see it in my head. And I already, like 2 movies up, already got it set up with AI. Me and AI have been getting acquainted. So,
but that's good though.
I already got like a futuristic adventure story, and I got another one now with the horror story. Not really a horror, more like a thriller than anything else. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm already tossing out ideas. We didn't even get the second episode out.
What I like is like it. I feel like a kid. Like it's almost like I don't want to make it sound like it's easy because it's not, but it's pretty damn cool that this is at our disposal. And I think one thing that you and I really are good at is like how our imagination kind of goes off on its own. And it was like these jokes and these little stories that we make up and laugh about. It's like we can actually start incorporating these ideas. And that's really what I'm excited about with Bro Church is the different levels of content and entertainment and humor that people are going to get, with this being the baby, and how we can incorporate that into the episodes and the promotion. Just like when I asked you to give me background stories, because you're better at that, like the background bios, like what you gave me for Gina was like, that's actually pretty fucking cool. And then like actually talking it through with AI and going over, because you have to treat AI like a baby in some sense. So you have to constantly keep repeating and reminding and engaging, and until finally it starts.
And then getting frustrated and saying, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then turning it off, walking away, having a drink, coming back like, "Okay, I'm sorry, I got mad at you, but let's."
I still love you, baby. I didn't know. I didn't know I had that in me like that. I'm sorry.
You see, just coming around, becoming an all new person. You know,
AI is just sitting off to the side, like whatever. You used to love me.
I'm still waiting on the last prompt, dude. Like, let's get this going.
Forgive me, I'm fixing my camera here.
Technical difficulties.
Well, I tell you what, it's like this. There we go. People are like, "Yo, you guys are so unprofessional."
Yes, of course. That's literally the point.
This is Bro Church. Like, dude, I literally didn't do my hair. I was like, I'm not doing my fucking hair.
I was debating whether to wear a robe or not, but I'm like, you know what? I'm all right. I'm still warm. So
I wore Alexandra's least favorite shirt that I own. She hates this shirt. I think because it's just too busy and stuff, and I like it. Like I can understand why she doesn't, but I like it because this is one of my favorite colors. And she's just like, it just says Puma, and it's just, what is that? And I was like, I don't know, I like it. So I was like looking for a shirt to put on, and I said, babe, I'm wearing your favorite shirt. She was like, oh yeah, that's great. Like, so she's gonna
forever immortalized. Every time she looks at this episode, she's gonna be like, this is bullshit. She's just gonna fast forward and clip you out.
But listen, so we dropped the girls off. Obviously picking them up and being able to talk about what you guys, including my mom, did with the girls. But once again, it's dope that that they had that experience, not only with my mom, but with Ronnie and yourself and the boys especially.
Yeah.
Alexandra and I were like so fucking happy to see, like there's you got really good kids, dude. They're good men. They're gonna be good men, and especially like having this experience with girls, because you know how I am with raising girls. It's like it teaches you patience. So those boys having that experience with their cousins, those little cousins of theirs, is I think that obviously is going to pay off. But like, I'm grateful for that, man. Thank you so much for helping and for
of course
being involved. Yeah, man. We never worried about them at all, and I know when they're with you all in Delaware, I'm extremely happy and I feel very safe.
Yeah, it was pretty cool how to see the boys react. Because when we went to the pool, to the beach, it felt like your girls had security detail around them. Like they kept looking around, making sure they're there. Making sure it was clear, checking the water temperature. They go up ahead.
It's different.
Like, what do we look for here, Dad? I'm like, okay, zone A, B, and C. Make sure you clear up. I tell you what, if the Secret Service needs any tips, they can call the boys up and then figure out how to survey the area, because they did a hell of a job. I tell you what, and they got to learn the difference between just all boys hanging out versus having the girls around, because learn how to paint their nails and everything. And my older ones were like, yeah, sure, paint my nails, and they were like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. This is fun, So they got that side out. We're like, yeah, this is actually having a good time with the girls. And then they were just laughing. And then when we did club night with the lights and everything, man, I'm telling you, I do apologize though. Your kids are into techno now, so
I think that's up Ava's alley.
Oh man, especially the little one, man. I tell you what, man, she's got that look from like she want to kick your butt regardless of what. Like
she came out like that, dude. She was mean mugging me the day she was born.
I was telling Alex, I was like, we're sitting at the table, and she's staring down this guy at the bar twice her size. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up. Keep it up. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? I'm still eating this. I'm still eating this. I'm like, okay, calm down. Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, about to get in a bar fight.
Yeah, and she gets really like they're both sensitive, but Ava's more sensitive. Like if she thinks you're saying something about her that she doesn't like, she immediately like she's like, hey, and then she just has this look on her face like, don't call me that. And I'm like, actually that was a compliment. And don't call me compliment. And I'm like, you're not understanding what I'm saying. You know, but Chloe kind of just gets emotional right off the bat. Yeah, she's like, I'm not talking to you. And I'm like, you kind of have to, because I'm going to be here for a long time, God willing.
You're not talking to me now until you're hungry, and then you want a snack. So I can do the waiting game.
Well, I want to share with you a funny story that happened with me on the way to Florida. It never happened to me before. Well, we flew out of Allentown here in Pennsylvania, small airport. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. But we got on this plane. Alexandra's like, you know, we got the exit seats, or the emergency exit seats, you know, because they have more leg room.
Oh, you were by the door.
I wasn't, but I had the spacious space, you know, because for my legs.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And when Alexandra booked the seats, it was just her and I. And so typically, like, I'll let her sit in the window.
What happened? Something went off.
Yeah, my light.
That's a sign, dude. Don't talk about Florida.
I guess I wonder if there's a timer on that. Like, bitch, don't you fucking do that again. Anyway, so I'm like, word. So we get in there.
Okay, let's wrap up.
He's like, here we go. I've heard this story 10 times already. But when we get in there and we walk up to our seats, there's a guy sitting on the aisle seat. So it's 3 seats in a row, and we get the 2, you know, so I'm in the middle because Alexandra was wearing like a bodysuit and she was showing cleavage. I was like, yeah, you know, you're not sitting beside. It was like an older dude, but he was like, I felt like he was a retired phys ed teacher. Like he had the phys ed polo shirt that was tucked into the phys ed pants.
Oh,
he had gray hair and glasses. He had like the hair that was like the silver hair coming out of the collar of his shirt. His arms were hairy, and he was stocky, but he was an older guy. So we sit down.
He was hiding his whistle.
Right. He might as well have had a whistle there because he sat there with his arms crossed like this, and he had a neck pillow, and he had a bag of snacks on the floor. And then he's sitting there and he's like reading a book or something before he crosses his arms. So I'm kind of sitting there. I'm a big guy. I'm 280. I'm 6'2". I'm 280 pounds. This guy was pretty much my size. Like he was a big, older, retired phys ed teacher. And he smelled like he just had phys ed class and got on the plane.
Oh, that's fun.
Like he smelled, yeah.
Nice.
It wasn't like body odor. It was just sweat. Like it was
season.
We just did suicides. Yeah, sweat. So I'm like, oh my God, this guy, right? And I'm like, okay, it's cool. So I tell you what, flight starts. He takes his phone. He puts it on a little clip thing that hangs on the seat in front of him. Puts it on there. Puts Netflix on. Sits back, crosses his arms, and he takes away my armrest.
Oh.
And so I'm kind of like, I'm like this a little bit. And I'm like, oh, dude, because he has the aisle armrest. I get the armrest next. And then my wife gets the armrest to my left. So I'm like, all right. And then, dude, he does this. He goes, It's almost like it's like watching a guy with OCD. He sat there and he went, and then he leaned down, opened his bag, got his bag of chips, pulled out a sandwich. Like, the flight just started. Like, it's like a kid who goes through all their snacks when they first go on a trip. Like, we got 2 hours in this trip. And he's just pegging away at the freaking chips, and he's eating the sandwich, and he's really into this movie. And I'm like, what? And then after that, he back to his arms crossed, and that dude did not move his arms for the entire 2-hour flight, 2.5-hour flight.
Jesus.
And his leg was up against mine. And I got to the point where I let my leg, like I pushed up against it with my leg because I was wearing shorts. So we were skin to skin contact. And I was like, this is where we are right now. This is us, dude.
This is where
and I thought he would move. I thought he would move. He didn't. He just sat there. He was like, yep. He goes, I'm not moving. I was like, I guess. And I just was like, and I didn't say anything because I was like, whatever. I just wanted to get off the plane because I don't do that well on airplanes. I can do it. Mm-hmm. My wife was the first person to ever get me on one. I've only flown with her. So we have a routine, and I, takeoff kind of freaks me out. But I was just like, I don't have the energy to be like, yo, do you mind? Like anywhere else, I'd have been like, yo, do you mind? But up there, I was just like, let me just lay back. Yo, we took Allegiant. They don't even have Wi-Fi on the plane. Now, I know I sound bougie, but bro, I couldn't even use my phone.
Dude, at least Wi-Fi.
Bro, so I have no phone. All I did was listen to playlists on Spotify that I downloaded so I could listen to them offline. And I'm just sitting there with my eyes closed and my earbuds in like, this guy. And he just sat there like he was just like, this is my domain. And I'm like,
he claimed his domain there, yeah.
Jesus.
Skin contact for 2 hours for this guy, man. I don't know. You got to get his number or something? Like, after a while, you got to lean over and just got to sleep on his shoulder.
And he must have like came with he was with his wife, I'm assuming, or they were sitting behind him. I don't know why he sat where he sat. But you can tell he enjoyed his. Yeah, he was. I think he was like, my wife's back there. I'm gonna talk to my lady, and he was like, somebody like tried having a conversation with him, and he was like, like he didn't want to talk. Nope. He wasn't small, and I'm just like, all right, that's cool, man. When he landed, and he got up with the quickness when the bell rang and everybody started standing up. Yep. I was like, finally, my whole body kind of like avalanched back over to where his side of the seat. Oh man, that was the worst. I got flagged in the coming through the TSA. Getting on the flight, I got flagged with a big red square over my dick, my crotch.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when you stand there like this?
Yeah.
And it scanned me, and as I walk out, on the screen, there's a picture of a silhouette of a person with a big red box over the crotch area. And the guy goes, do you have anything on you? And I'm like, no, I took everything out. He goes, I'm going to have to pat you down. And I'm like, all right, you got to do what you got to do.
Can you start on my penis?
Yeah.
Clearly it says use both hands.
Well, he goes, I'm going to use my hands. He goes, but I'm going to touch you with the back of my hands. And he like demonstrates.
You should look him straight in the eye and be like, no, use the palm.
Alexandra was like, you should have fucked with him at that. I said, that wasn't a bad idea. I probably should have because he starts patting me down with the back of his hands. And dude, he grazes my junk 5 times. Passing back and forth. And I'm like, oh man, this is like awkward, but dude, do what you do.
Dude, you're having like the most, you got skin to skin contact on the plane. You get off the plane, you start getting all felt up. Like,
I said,
what the hell did you take?
And Alexandra's like all loud, like, I told you had a rocket. I said, babe, knock that shit off.
Hell yeah.
Let me put my shoes back on and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
I'm hungry.
I'm like, use both hands, man. Use both hands. Imagine he would have gotten up and said, looked you in the eye and be like, you know what, sir? Thank you. He's like, no. Thank you. No, he's like, no. Thank you.
And
then walked away.
Actually, you're right. I will use 2 hands. You got to follow me, though.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't work for the TSA. I'm just a janitor. He got patted down by the janitor.
Oh man, that was my shit
that's
show.
Crazy.
Dude.
Oh my god, dude! I went to the National Truck Driving Championships, and we took a plane to get there, and it was me and the two coworkers that I competed with.
Yeah.
And we went to the TSA, and of course, I looked the part regardless. So I'm walking up to my two buddies, and I'm like, "Hey, you know what? $5, I get picked." They're like, "Nah, you're not gonna get picked." And this is after I shaved and everything, Right away, the guy looked at my license, glanced at me. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to check you." I'm like, "Yeah, of course you do." So I'm like, "All right," and because they were with me, they had to get checked too.
Oh, wow.
So the best part is I go in first, and they scan me down. They realize I ain't got shit on me. I had the small red box. I'm sorry, but I didn't have, my box wasn't as big as yours, but whatever.
You didn't have the rocket.
It was cold in the airport. So I get out of the scanner and I go to the TSA agent. I'm like, "Hey, you see that guy over there?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I work with him." I was like, "Do me a favor, run him through everything." And this guy, awesome freaking guy I used to work with, but pure-blooded American, man, like everything American. Yeah. And he walks through and he's like, "Sir, I'm going to have to stand you over here." He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "Well,
I'm an American."
He started getting his hands swabbed, patted down from top to bottom. They searched everything. He was like, "Oh my goddamn, you need to be checking that motherfucker over there." I'm waving at him, laughing my ass off. He's like, "Fuck you, man. Fuck you. I know that you did this to me."
This America.
It, dude. He's like, that's what he said too. He's like, "I'm a goddamn American. You need to be doing this shit to me. Do that shit to that motherfucker over there." I'm sitting there laughing my ass off. I'm like, "All right, man, have some fun." Oh man, dude, he motherfucked me the whole way to the airport, man. That shit was hilarious.
Dude, I there's something
TSA,
about
man.
Airports and TSAs. Like it's the only place where I comply. Like whatever you need me to do, I'm doing it. I just want to get through because it's the most stress elevating situation that I've ever experienced going through an airport. There's a bunch of people, there's kids, sometimes there's dogs. And it's just like, dude, you need me to hop on one foot and recite the alphabet in reverse. I'll do it. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'm not going to argue. I'm not here to make my point. You win. And it's just like when that happened, it was like, and I started tanking because I hadn't eaten. So I was starting to get the shakes. And Alexandra was like, "Oh, I can tell you're not doing too good." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting ready to fucking pass out." And then that shit happened, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I didn't wear a belt just so I could go through that thing without no problem, because it's always something stupid like, "Oh, it's your belt, it's the key ring, it's." Anyway, Florida was great. Got to see family, and we chilled on the beach, and I ate and drank until I didn't want to anymore. But I tell you what, that experience in the airport was one in a million for me.
It's crazy in the airports, man. It's like you said, it's high stress, and luckily for you, you didn't pass out on the TSA agent while he's checking your junk, because that would have been awkward.
Yeah, because he would have had to hold me while he was holding my junk.
It would have cupped it. It's like, "All right, buddy, you stay up there."
Yeah, you're making me do this just for me. Like, yeah, right, Sam. Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get right into it. Episode 2 for Bro Church is called Locked for 7 Days. There's a funny story about that. We'll get to that soon. But I want to start off, sir. We didn't get into this last time because I didn't know about it, but you, my friend, just received your name on your fireman's jacket. Why didn't you bring this up before? Why didn't we talk about this before? For those that don't know, Dave is are you still a volunteer firefighter? Like, how's that work?
Yep. Yes, I am. I'm still a volunteer firefighter. Been loving it. Been doing it, man. It fits. The only thing I wish I would have done it sooner. I kicked myself in the ass for not doing it earlier, but I'm glad I'm doing it now. And yeah, I did get my name. I didn't say it earlier because I don't keep it like, yeah, I'm a firefighter. Keep doing the firefighter and firefighter this, and after a while, I'm like, firefighter, all right, dude. But I did get my name, and it's a big deal for me because the way it works is it's your fire department on top and your name at the bottom. So it's who you're volunteering with and who you're representing and who you are at the bottom. So who you're serving comes first, and who you are is what they'll know. So getting your name to me is a big deal on your jacket because now it's like you're part of it. This is you're letting everybody know that this is who you are. So it's a big deal. It's a big symbol, so, and there's a lot of symbolism in regards to fire departments and even, just any department. And for those who are part of it, understand that. So one of the things that, when you brought up the name and celebrating it, at first I was like, it's one of those, like, I don't know if I should mention it, but what actually changed my mind is actually seeing the firefighter get, the one that passed away. God,
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
At the Trump
During the
rally.
whole Trump set, yeah. So, but seeing his turnout gear, being honored, and seeing his name, that I see it, I saw that, and I was like, yeah, that means a lot because that's who he is, that's who he represented, So when you said let's talk about it, I was like, you know what, I think you're right. I think it
Yeah.
means a lot to it's your turnout gear, you blood, sweat, and tears in it. And the more you give, the more you receive back in regards to volunteers. So if the message goes out, and if anything you're going to take from this, if you have a local fire department, volunteer. It's that easy. Just join, sign the application, go through the training, and you're going to learn some really cool stuff. So if anybody wants to volunteer, just sign up for it, because I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it. The things you get out of it is more than what you can give in. I'm telling you. And it's highly appreciated.
I always had so much respect for firefighters, people that did dangerous shit like that.
Yeah,
I think firefighters, to me, because I'm it's not like there's a huge budget. I don't know, as far as politics go, for firefight. I know they're always looking for donations and from the community. And it's almost like when you drive by a fire station and you just happen to be driving by when the fire truck's coming out and the lights are going off and the horns going off, you don't know what you're getting into. And I'm assuming, I'm not a firefighter, but you don't know what you're getting into in that regard. You could be going into something that could potentially be your last day. It's one of the things that you being family, our fear was just yo, that's awesome, but fuck, be careful, bro, because volunteer means volunteer.
This crazy son of a bitch of code.
He's just volunteering. Dave's I got my name on my jacket. I'm wait a minute, you got a 401k? What?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty insane because what the guys have shown me, and then like I said, they took me in, and it is straight up a brotherhood, because it's something that I've never experienced before. We got each other's back in regards, if shit goes down, you have backup behind you, and that stays with you for so long. And when one of the crazy things is when we go out on a call, for instance, they explained to me, when you get an alarm for just a residential alarm, you have to be ready, because a regular smoke alarm can turn into a structure fire. So you're sitting there getting ready, oh, it's just another smoke alarm. So you got your turnout gear half-ass on, and then you whirl up and the whole house is engulfed in flames. You're I gotta get ready, and every second counts. So now you're oh shit. So one of the things they push is be ready all the time. When you're in there, just be ready all the time. So,
So right now you're actively ready right now in the event that something were to pop off.
I am ready, dude. If shit pops off, I want to go.
Okay. And I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah. The first hurdle I got to go over is this Ronnie standing by the door is Did you kiss me goodbye? I'm like, I gotta. But did you say goodbye? I'm like, okay, I gotta go.
I'm in my fight or flight mode, babe. Move.
Yeah. It's amazing because you're going at 1,000 miles per minute, and I'm like, shit, I didn't say goodbye, so I gotta run back upstairs. I'm like, all right, bye, babe. Okay, I'll see you, and then run back downstairs. Like, let's do this. Yeah, it's every time.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. I think, you and I both are blue collar cats and we've worked together a couple times but we have that mentality. And so I knew like this was right up your alley, especially you, because you are all in. Like I said in the beginning of the podcast, Dave, you know where you stand with Dave. And I know the brotherhood mentality is important to you, and having a collective, no pun intended there with JMC, but a collective of men that are ride or die, that come, I'm sure, and I'm not trying to speak for you, but that come from different backgrounds and different views in life. But together in that moment, it's like, this is what we do. I think that's pretty badass and pretty honorable. And so I commend you, bro.
It's amazing how different all our backgrounds are, to be able to just, come together and see just one goal. I'm telling you, if we had the mentality as a nation, we'll be unstoppable. I'm telling you, because the one spot where we literally have completely different backgrounds, completely different points of views, but all that is set aside once we put that gear on, and once we jump on the engine, it's on, man. It doesn't matter where you come from. You see the fire in front of you, that's what needs to be put out. Period. There's no question. Like you're my backup. All right, we're in this together. 2 in, 2 out. That's all it is. So. But
well,
yeah. So now I think that's my name.
That's a great analogy for like how life should be. Like we're not going to agree on everything. And I do understand that there comes times in life where you need to stand on principle, but when you can at least have a disagreement, but still keep space for respect, for love, and not taint that space for people to coexist. That's really what life should be about. And I think that's what Bro Church in a way really represents as well. And I'm not trying to be cheesy with tying that in. I genuinely mean that. Like, the shit show that we are trying to create, and the fun and the humor that we want to have and we will have, there's also a space for, you and I are both level-headed people that can have intellectual conversations, and there's a bit later on in this episode that I want to tie back into that. But yes, you got your name on your fireman's jacket. I think that's awesome. You and Gabi as well, because your son is also a volunteer fighter, my nephew. So congratulations, man, because I know like that shit's important to you, and it feels good when you're celebrated. I think we're also built to be like, oh, I don't want to celebrate myself. That shit's weird. But like, fuck it, man. Like, this is what we're going to do here on Bro Church. We're going to acknowledge our achievements. Yeah, man.
I want cake. I'll celebrate the shit out of it. I want cake.
Okay, well, Ronnie, make the man cake. Right now I'm recording this. I'm still using my old laptop. So I received a brand new laptop. Shout out to Lancaster Equity Council. I received a grant to go towards JMC Productions, which is now JMC Collective. And I did something pretty fucking drastic. First I did research, and I came up with the conclusion that this was the best thing to get. I said, well, if I'm going to really step up JMC Collective and do a lot of video editing and producing, and I need something that's mobile, and I got myself a MacBook Pro. It's the first time I've ever owned an Apple product. My wife teases me and says that it's time now to get the phone. I said she can kick rocks and pound sand until she makes glass. I'm not doing that. I'm a Galaxy
guy. You say
that
now.
But the thing is, dude, is like, and I know you're gonna understand this because your phone is also Android based, and you're so used to unlocking your phones or like a Windows PC or laptop using Google and recovery keys and this, that, and the third, and my memory saved, and I just got to do this and use my phone to second verify it, dude. Apple is weird, and it's so weird. It's so weird. I'm gonna save the listeners and viewers the fucking pain and just get right to it. I got locked out of my MacBook Pro and locked out of trying to reset my Apple ID, and it got to the point that Apple pretty much was like, if you don't have an Apple product where we can reset it, you gotta wait 7 days. You're locked out for 7 days. And I said, you got to be fucking kidding me. And I'm sitting in bed and I'm like, I'm trying not to lose my shit, dude. I'm like, I'm not going to throw this fucking thing because it's a beautiful piece of equipment. It's got some weight to it. You know what I mean? And I said, no. I told myself I would learn this. And then Alexandra's like, well, just reset it. So I said, okay. So I figured out how to reset it. I get started on the reset, right? I'm like, yeah, here we go, okay. And then all of a sudden, the MacBook's like, yeah, we need you to enter the password that was originally on this MacBook Pro. I said, I'm resetting the fucking thing.
See, these warnings should just be straight up honest. Be like, yeah, well, dumbass, we're not going to make it easy for you. We're just going to make things a lot more harder. So you've gotten this far. Congratulations, but get ready to get fucked because I'm pretty sure you don't remember what you did before. So let's just make it worse for you.
You know what happened to me though, dude, was that the laptop has, you can scan your fingerprint to unlock it, which I've never had that. I've never been one to use it, but you know, as I get older, I try not to be like a fuddy-duddy. I'm like, I'm gonna roll with the new, and I'm hip. So, so I said, let me set this laptop up with my thumbprint. So I set it up, and I took it like from now on. I just unlocked this laptop with my thumb. That's my password. So when I set my password up, I didn't really register that I needed to remember it. So when I had to restart my laptop or MacBook Pro, it tells me you can't use the thumb or finger until you enter your password whenever you restart it. From that point on, then you can use your thumb. I said, you gotta be fucked. I said, oh, that's no problem. I just did it. It's did I enter it? It's like, nope. Dude, I swear 5 times, and then it was like, all right, you're gonna have to wait 3 minutes. And then 3 minutes turned to 15, turned to 30, turned to an hour, turned to 3 hours, turned to 8 hours, turned to 24 hours. Then they said, you're locked out. Done. Dunzo.
Like, they're like, you know what? We don't trust you.
Oh my God. Anyway, long story short, I got it. I was in Florida when Apple sent me to the minute, 7 days later, your Apple ID is ready to be reset. I was like, thank you.
Nice.
So I came home, set up my MacBook Pro. I'm still using my regular one because I still got to set up some things that I can record us with. But that thing is a fucking beast, dude.
Did you set up your thumbprint?
I did. Yeah, I set up my thumbprint, but I remembered my password. I wrote it down.
Now, can you use, because I think you can use more fingers instead of your thumb. You can use your pointer or whatever. Or is it just have to be your thumb?
It doesn't have to be your thumb. I just chose to use my thumb to set it up. But what's cool is they tell you to keep tapping it so it gets different sides of your thumb. And which I thought was cool because I have that, I think it's called biometric or whatever, the login where you can use your thumbprint. I have that on my Galaxy, but I can't tell you how many times I go to unlock my phone and it's like, I don't recognize it. I'm like, it's the fucking thumb I used to set it up. So you have to like place it at the right way you set it up with with the MacBook Pro, they have you like 8 different times. Place it.
That's how my phone is.
Oh, dude, now I seriously just tap it and it just unlocks it. I'm like, okay, I'll give that to you.
You should use especially your pointer finger, so that way every time you unlock your MacBook, you go just swipe down. Lick your finger and go
all dainty.
Tease a little bit.
Oh man, so that's why the name of the podcast is Locked for 7 Days. By the way, I decided to go with that.
Nice.
My wife's like, okay, it's only a matter of time now. We got to go and get you an iPhone. I said, fuck that. I'll get the MacBook Pro, but this Galaxy.
Remember.
Yeah. We are going to remember. It ain't going to happen, people.
Yeah, I'm going to remember. Hey, Dave, guess what? I got an iPhone and.
Okay. Let's start here finally with what's going on. We've been gone for 2 weeks. We're about 45 minutes in.
Shit.
Yeah, there's a lot that we got to get into, and we're not obviously. Look, Dave and I obviously picked the shit that we wanted to talk about. So but I feel like we had a lot to pick from. Let's start, Dave, with the topic you brought up, the Tenacious D situation that took place. I guess it was like a week or so ago. Actually, it was the day after the attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump. I don't know where they were, but Tenacious D was performing their own tour, as they have always been on tour. Yeah. And I guess they were presenting Kyle with a birthday cake or something. Kyle Gass with a birthday cake, and he made a comment as he blew the candle out, if I remember correctly.
It was a sarcastic joke that he made, but it completely blew them out of the water. I mean, this is the thing is about Tenacious D is. But he says
though, but real quick though, he says, "Don't miss next time" or something.
They said, "What do you wish you?" Yeah, they had the cake in front of him.
Okay,
he was about to blow out the candle and say, "Okay, what do you wish for?" And he's like, "Don't miss," being sarcastic. And then Jack Black try to laugh it off because he was completely surprised by it, because a lot of this stuff that they do is pretty much improv. So when he was surprised by that comment, he blew out the candle. They try to brush it over, but it was already too late. The damage was done. So my thing is with that is I was a huge Tenacious D fan, and I say he was because
I was about to say you're still not.
Yeah, well, it's not because of the comment he made, because I've heard worse, especially after the assassination. I mean, there's like, oh my God, there's a hell of a lot worse. But my thing is, if South Park would have said the same thing, you see what I'm saying? They still would have been around. My qualm with it is that how Jack Black reacted to it. It was more to save. It felt like it was more to save his ass than anything else. Trying to clean something up that was already a mess. But the thing is, like, it's almost like having South Park apologize for what they do. You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
We all know what South Park does. Has South Park ever apologized for what they did? No. They would make another episode to make fun of the people that are complaining, right? Tenacious D has been known for this. Not known to make, comments like he made, but they're known for their sarcasm. They're known for their pushing the edge. I mean, they have a song that's called, F her slowly, so they talk about schlongs. They talk about smoking, they talk about sex like crazy. Like, they literally have the devil playing a double bass drum, ripping it up. It's like,
yeah.
But this comment is what's gonna make you cancel your band, and in my opinion, and
cancel the tour.
I want to say it's more, it's more like Jack Black, because Jack Black took the forum and said, we're canceling, we're done with the tour, we're done with everything. And I'm sitting there like, okay, what? That's what does your band in? It wasn't all the dick jokes from the past. It wasn't all the smoking weed. It's like, did you not see the Pick of Destiny? Like, that. But this comment's the one that's gonna do you in. Like, have you not heard what's going on? prior to all this, like all the other worst comments that have been made. But no, he wants to do the cleanup because like I said, it's just my opinion. I feel as though he's just trying to save the career he has. The Kung Fu Panda just came out. He's got contracts with DreamWorks, with his, geared more for children. And it's like, pick something, either you are who you are, or if you want to be the puppet for these industries, and be the puppet for the industries. But Tenacious D, I enjoyed Tenacious D so much because they were who they were. They didn't give a shit about what they said. Their music was rocking and it was freaking hilarious. But again, in their music, they didn't give a shit what they said or did. They just continue to play, continue to enjoy themselves. But for some reason, this one comment is what does it, because they got pressured by the media. They got scared, in my opinion, they got scared, and now they're running away from something that they could have honestly just stood up and fought against. Because and you can look it up yourself, like there are some serious hardcore comments out there that are way worse than what he said. I mean, we can go all the way back to freaking Bush to Bill Clinton to Obama. Jesus, what they said about him. And
my view on it is on the opposition in regards to, I felt like it was a little too soon. It was the day after.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, I think, I don't know if they have to have a routine. Obviously, they've been doing this for, I think, 20 some years. So I don't know if there's something that they typically do, and that Kyle Gass said, I'm going off script, and that was one of their things that they agreed not to do, is don't go off script like that. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
It could be. I mean, honestly, like I said, this is all from outside looking in. We don't know what really is going on. We don't know if this is what the straw that broke the camel's back. But
yeah.
Again, outside looking in, it's especially being a fan, it's highly disappointing, because it's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you running away with your tail between your legs? Like, fucking man up. You said what you had to say. We push as a country freedom of speech. Why aren't we doing it? I mean, fucking Ted Nugent said Hillary Clinton needs to be hung. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And he's I
feel like that's where I feel like Jack Black was, and this is why I feel like you have a very valid argument, because I can understand why Jack Black did it, but he does really need to pick a lane of where he wants to rest his morals, I guess, because Tenacious D is a place I feel like what we're doing at Brochurch is exactly what I feel Kyle Gass and Jack Black have done with Tenacious D, where it's like, I want to forget about the politically correct. I want to forget about what the rules are, and let me just relax and have a good time. And if it's not my bag, then I just don't watch or don't listen. But I also feel like he was probably not feeling that because of how soon it was. I get what you're saying. I just feel like
my thing is,
go ahead.
My thing is, like if anybody else would have said something, like for instance, if this wasn't Trump and it was somebody else, for instance, like I said, I'm going back to Ted Nugent because he said some harsh shit, you know what I mean? Like about Hillary Clinton. But he's like, yeah, I said it. And then kept it going. Like, you're asking for an apology. He's not fucking going to apologize. He hasn't apologized since. He's
Jack
like, yeah, I said it. He goes, I probably shouldn't have said that. But even I get, the fact of it's too soon. Okay, great. But I guarantee that if this was somebody else, you see what I'm saying? They would have thought it was funny. I mean, if they would have said something about Biden, the same people that are complaining, would have been cracking up about it. But no, because we're in a highly sensitive area right now about what's going on. This whole freedom of speech thing goes out the freaking window, and now it's all free, mass sensitivity by the same people who are screaming, we're not sensitive. The fuck you're not. What do you think's happening? So Jack Black's running away from this, instead of facing it and say, look, yeah, we said what we said, but this is Tenacious D. Like I said, what if South Park would have said the same thing?
Yeah,
They would have had a whole fucking cartoon about it. I guarantee there's a probably cartoon coming down the pipeline for it. You see what I'm saying?
and that was the while you were speaking there, I was starting to wonder, like, is he a Trump supporter? Did this bother him? But it looks like he's a Biden supporter.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah,
I don't know.
He's
I
not
guess
a Trump supporter.
Yeah. Forgive me. I'm just looking it up now. Jack Black's endorsement speech goes viral. Jack Black just delivered the strongest endorsement of President Biden. This was a month ago. So obviously he's not a Trump guy, because I was kind of wondering, like, is it typically, and look, this isn't a political podcast. Every now and then I'll bring that up because I don't want people to feel like we're talking politics. We're talking about the shit show of the shit shows. And one of the reasons why I state that is because you start to see where people stand politically in today's climate because of the climate that Donald Trump has introduced into politics. When people start siding with something that doesn't jive with what you support, and it surprises you, like, I never thought that you would vote for someone like that. So I'm thinking maybe Jack Black supports Trump, and we were just like, whoa, Jack Black actually.
That could be a theory.
I don't know. I don't know. I get what you're saying, because it does taint Tenacious D, in my opinion. What are we doing here? Is it time to hang it up? Because we don't want to get into, now we have to watch what we're talking about or watch what we're saying. Now, I will say this. Is there more to the story that we as fans or listeners and viewers don't know about behind the scenes with Tenacious D between Kyle and Jack? I don't know. There could be more there where Jack was just like, I've been fucking telling you for years, dude. This shit, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that joke, but just the timing of it, where it was just like, like he just got tired of that. I don't know.
I would rather accept that more than just ending it because of just that one comment.
I do agree with you.
And I know I'm going to get, backlash from it by saying, but that comment was really serious. And I was like, okay, come off your fucking high horse. You know what I mean? Come off your fucking high horse. But I guarantee every motherfucker out here has said something a lot worse. But the whole argument is stand up for what you're saying. If you're going to fucking say it, and then when you do say it, fucking balls up for the repercussions. If you got repercussions coming at you, just take it. Fucking sit there and say, you know what? Yeah, I fucking said it. Yeah. Was it too soon? Yeah. It probably was too soon for a lot of people, but at the moment, I thought it was a funny, sarcastic comment, and I'm not sorry for it because it's who we are.
Yeah.
But if it hurt your feelings, I apologize that it does hurt your feelings, but I'm going to keep it moving. Next show's going to be Saturday. And if you don't want to show up, don't show up. It's fucking easy, because like I said, we push so much, especially through this whole political life, that we're living in right now. And you're right. I don't think it's just Trump. I think it's just both sides have pushed this whole rhetoric of freedom of speech. Do this, do that. Or you can't say this, you can't say that. Or why are you doing this? Or why are you doing that? To a point where you can't get, 2 blocks without being criticized or try to get shut down or canceled, by either side, But the one thing that stands strong, and it sounds stupid, but the one thing that gives me hope and stands strong is fucking South Park. Why? Because they accepted who the fuck they are. They will say what they got to say, do what they got to do. And if you literally make fun of them, or not even make fun of them, if you complain and say, well, I can't believe you did that. Guess what? They're going to make a fucking episode of you complaining about them. I mean, look at the episode of Karens. Look at the episode of the Christians. It's every time there's a complaint on South Park, expect an episode to rebuttal what the complaint was. You see what I'm saying?
And I will say that I for one, I don't watch South Park. I've never really been a big fan, but I do understand the MO of that series, and they've been around since we were in high school, dude. So we're talking about late 90s. They know what works. I will say one thing, and then I want to move on to our next topic. I wonder if this was something that Jack Black was like, we're on tour, you're fucking with my money, dude. Like, do you feel like this may have been like you're gonna kill ticket sales because maybe Jack Black knows that the demographic of his audience.
I think it's more.
Go ahead.
Well, it could be more. You're gonna kill my career instead of my ticket sales.
Okay. You brought that up, right?
People need to understand that it wasn't the right or left that canceled the tours. It wasn't complaints. It wasn't the backlash that canceled the tours. It literally was Jack Black saying, "I'm done."
Yeah.
Jack Black was the one that made the decision. It wasn't because of the backlash. He's the one that canceled it before the backlash even started. So he's the one. So I think it was more not the ticket sales, because obviously he lost millions in canceling his own tour. I think it was more,
fair enough. Yeah.
Let me save my career before you destroy it.
Fair enough.
Because he's in, how many movies is he in now? So, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a shame. We're big Tenacious D fans. Pick a Destiny is still one of the greatest movies of comedy, in my opinion, just to sit back and have a few drinks. So it'd be interesting to find out how that plays out. Moving on next, this just happened this past Saturday, Dave. I was in Delaware when this happens with you and the family, my mom included. Robert Downey Jr. cast as Dr. Doom. And the next two Avengers movies. Talk to me about, again, I fall back to your expertise and the comic book world. Does Tony Stark Iron Man kind of become Dr. Doom somehow? What's the play here?
Now, I've been reading up on it. I don't know. There's not much explanation as to why they're making Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. They haven't really, laid out the storyline, but they did confirm that they're not combining, Iron Man and Doctor Doom. Like, he is literally just Doctor Doom. I was kind of hoping like a what if, because there are comic books out there with Iron Man being Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, there's no indication that that's going to be the case. I think this is just strictly Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom,
which is weird. So, am I?
Yeah, I'm glad you said it too, because
it's just weird.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a big Robert Downey Jr. fan. The man came from like hitting rock bottom to just becoming the Iron Man.
Yeah,
and I think he's trying to expand his role. But as Doctor Doom,
but go in the DCU or go into be a. I look from a guy on the outside looking in. When I saw it, I was just like, this is weird, because you just solidified your decade-long run as Iron Man, making the ultimate sacrifice in Endgame, and then it was like, we're bringing him back to play another character. You're not just some B-list actor that can kind of flip it a little bit with another superhero. People are going to look at you and see Tony Stark. So that's why I led with my question of the whole Tony Stark, Dr. Doom. I noticed in the comic books there was a play there like that, and I have to believe that A, they're not going to tell you the whole reason why, and B, they're going to mislead everybody as much as possible, because he is going to be a variant of Tony Stark. I guess. I don't know. It just doesn't.
I don't know.
How do you look? Unless they're going to do prosthetic makeup where he looks. But then it's just like, well, then why have him play the character to begin with?
Yeah. Like you got to understand, Doctor Doom is like, he's dark. He's dead serious. like what he says goes. He's not comedic, he's not
Yeah.
sarcastic, and he's very, even when as they portray him in the comic book, he's very stoic, he's very,
Right.
he has his mannerisms, he's very educated, he's a fucking genius basically, so he carries himself as such. I mean, he created his own nation, and it thrives. So to fill in that role with Robert Downey Jr., I think I've only ever seen him with a couple of serious roles, and even then I'm like, oh man, that's pretty cool. But it doesn't hit the darkness, the real strong, powerful character that Doctor Doom is with Robert Downey. I mean, maybe I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised by
Sure,
Tony.
yeah.
I'm
I
hoping.
mean, I'm going to
or
watch
not
it. It's
Tony,
Robert
Jesus.
Downey Jr.
Yeah. I hope he brings it to the plate. I mean, like I said, I'm hoping to be surprised because, like I said, he's a great actor. Don't get me wrong. Robert Downey is really good.
You
just
have
don't
something
know.
like
I don't
Iron
know.
Man. You have a character like Iron Man
Yeah.
and an actor that pretty much. I think it's because it's Robert Downey Jr. who pretty much carried the MCU into where it is
Yes.
now, and then you reintroduce him as a. I even felt like when they introduced him at the Comic-Con, and he removed his mask, there was the pop from the crowd wasn't like what I feel like it would have been if it was well received all around. I could tell like there was a pop, but I just felt like, I think a collective what the fuck happened across the fucking globe, because it was like, what are we doing? And does this go back to the Jonathan Majors being cut and the Kang Dynasty kind of?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it has to reset all that.
They have to reset all that because of Jonathan Majors' situation. So
what he did.
I don't know. Again, this is another. We'll see how this plays out. This is going to be pretty interesting. I think it's not a horrible thing. I can't imagine this being like the next. This is where we're going with phase what the fuck ever 10,000.
Yeah.
Of like it's he's already fucking immortalized as the Iron Man.
Yeah, my thing is just like it's great, but it also sucks because it takes away the chance, the moment for another character who would have probably fit better in the role to have a chance like Robert Downey did, to be able to come into this strong role and make it his own. I mean, Heath Ledger, God rest his soul, it will always be the best Joker. He took that character and he just made it his own. So it sucks that we're not able. Well, I own Marvel. It
But
sucks
we as
that
fans,
Marvel can't. Yeah, it sucks that Marvel can't think outside the box and give this role to a new character. Like I said, I like Robert Downey Jr. But I've seen him as in the Marvel industry for so long that it's like, oh, okay, here he goes again, now playing a different character, as opposed to, oh shit, look who it is, blah blah blah, playing Doctor Doom. Like, wow, this is going to be different, So I don't know. It just takes away from the character. It takes away from the chance to immortalize Doctor Doom, because Doctor Doom he's a heavyweight.
And they're bringing in the Fantastic Four movie, and so I'm assuming that he's going to be. Oh, I would think that he's going to start tying into that movie as well. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
I'm a fan of Robert Downey Jr. I know we both are, and I'm still going to watch the movie. I feel like if there's a card up their sleeve, it's got to be pretty fucking big, because they had to have known that there was going to be a level of what the fuck from the collective audience, and they were willing to take that gamble. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's see what happens.
Moving on, sir. A couple days ago, I hit you up. Actually, when I came back from Delaware, I was talking with my in-laws. They brought up to me in Paris, the Summer Olympics going on, the scandal of the Last Supper, debacle. For those that do not know what's going on, I'm reading this from NBC News. The French DJ at the center of the storm over an opening ceremony performance at the 2024 Paris Olympics that critics claim mocked The Last Supper, says she stands by her artistic choices. Meanwhile, Barbara Bush's lawyer has filed a legal complaint alleging that her client has been threatened online with death, torture, and rape. For those that do not Christian, know, right. For those that don't know what's going on, and I'm going to skip down here because there was an opening ceremony. I did not see it, so I just read about it because I don't watch the fucking Olympics. I'm that asshole. Even with NBA,
you're that guy.
I just don't. I'm sorry. I just don't watch it. But I guess there was an opening ceremony that people had a problem with because the director of this opening ceremony, this DJ or artistic director, the ceremony's artistic director, Thomas Jolly, has denied that the sequence called Festivity was inspired by the Da Vinci painting. He said the scene was drawn from Greek mythology, specifically an homage to the Greek god Dionysus. Did I pronounce that correct, Dave?
Dionysus.
You're right, Dionysus, forgive me. And the aim of the tableau was to talk about diversity. So I'm assuming that sequence resembled what people were saying, especially Christians and Catholics alike, that this resembled the Last Supper. They had a huge problem with it. My in-laws were telling me that it was being discussed in the church homily, and so my thought process was, well, let me read up on it. And of course, there were transgenders involved, and my thinking was, okay, you guys saw transgenders involved and immediately had a bone to pick because they were depicting something that's very sacred. And I feel like if it was done by a Christian group or a Catholic group, I don't think we would be having this conversation right now. That's my personal opinion on it.
That goes back to me saying, like, I'll start off with the director. That goes back to me saying, if you're gonna pick a fight, stick to it. Don't fall back on it. Like you knew what you were doing. You knew the placement. You know it. Like you're backtracking because you're seeing the death threats. You're seeing all these issues come along. You're seeing the backlash, right? So now you're doing crowd control, media control, and saying this is I was more control. Hearing through Greek mythology, Dionysus, but in all those Greek paintings and all those portraits, they're not sitting at a table. They're celebrating out in the fields, along with all the Greek mythology creatures. Dionysus is a Greek god of wine, fertility. So, you want to celebrate, diversity. Great, that's fantastic. Then you should have had it in a field. Why did you knew what you were doing? You did that 1,000%. On purpose. Like, even to the crown that the lady was wearing, it's not a wreath that Dionysus was wearing. Like the blue guy was representation of the god. So if you're going with Greek mythology, why not going off that crown, which looks like the heavenly halo, whatever the hell it is that they have in the Christian paintings and stuff. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and then the specific positionings you have on the table, like, you knew what you were doing. Like, you
knew it was going to ruffle feathers. You knew this was going to be controversial. I have no problem with it, but you're right. You stand by it because you knew.
You picked
and
a
you
fight.
Can't imagine that the Vatican's going to see that and just be like, well, that's just their interpretation. No, you probably did have a play with Greek mythology and incorporated it into the Last Supper. My thing is, and one of the things I I love and respect about you as my brother-in-law is, even though this shit show of a podcast is purely shenanigans and we rib each other, we are both level-headed individuals that can have open-minded conversations. And I say that because I am a pretty progressive thinking person. I'll admit that, but I also have some old school conservative thinking and thoughts as well. But when I look at this, I'm like, okay, I can see why Christians and Catholics were offended. But what are we really arguing about? You're arguing about the transgender people that were involved. A. On the other side, B, don't tell me that you didn't think this is actually looking like the Last Supper.
Yeah.
You knew it looked like the Last Supper.
You knew it looked like the
when I look,
so why are you backtracking?
I didn't watch, like, I didn't see it happen, but I saw like stills, and I was like, well, I can see what we're talking about here. And it's just like, dude, if you're going to do something like that on a stage, on a global stage like the Olympics, then you need to stand by it. Because if you're talking about, I was trying to highlight diversity, and I was trying to, cool. Well, then let's stand on that. Because let me tell you something. When you piss off the Vatican, when you piss off a coalition, a group, and I'm trying not to be disrespectful to the Catholics and to the Catholic. You know, I know I guess technically I'm identifying as a Catholic. I'm not practicing, and I have my own quarrels with that. But that's not like some little pushover nobody.
Like freaking obvious.
Like it's a big response that they received. You had to have known what you were doing, dude.
And that's the thing is like if you want to call yourself an artist, you want to call yourself a director, stand by what you're doing. If you're going to say like, yeah, you know what? I see the resemblance. I see what you guys are talking about. I wanted to be diversified. I wanted to express this version. If you guys are offended, that's art. It's supposed to react. You're supposed to react to art, you know, be it offensive, be it at all, you know, one way or the other, art does its job. It's supposed to make you react, you know, one way or the other. Like there was an artist a few years back that put the cross in a container of piss and called it, you know, I forget what it's called, Piss Jesus or something like that. And it was in the museum. I kid you not. Look it up. This guy put a cross in the bottle of piss, sealed it up, and say, "I call this Piss Jesus." I'm telling you. And it was. He knew. He's not saying, "Oh no, that's not what I." You know, I know it looks like that, but. Yeah, it was actually the apple juice, you know, like no, but it was in the it got this dude. It was, I think it was from 1999 or 2000. It went all the way to 2006 or some year that there was a riot and it got destroyed. You see what I'm saying? Gotcha. It lasted that long in a museum, right. You know, pissing people off because of what it was representing, but nobody destroyed it for that long until there was a riot.
Right.
So. Like I said, I go back to what I'm saying before. If you're going to pick a fight, fucking fight. You know, fight for what you're saying. Don't go back. That was my quarrel of the whole thing. Like, you know what? And actually, that's my first quarrel. The second one was taking away the light from the actual athletes at the Olympics.
Yes.
But before I get into that, the whole point of it is like Tenacious D, Jack Black, just anybody. If you're going to fucking say something that's going to, you know, piss people off, be ready for the repercussions. That's the thing. Like we're so used to pissing people off, but not used to receiving the repercussions. Like, oh my God, you know, I got punched in the face. Where did that come from? Well, you fucking told me to go eat a dick. You know, of course I'm going to fucking knock your teeth out. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, oh, whoa, how did that happen? What the fuck? Like, if you're going to start a fight, continue it. You know what I mean?
This country is a freedom. This country is about freedom of expression, both ways.
It's freedom of convenience. That's what it is.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is it's supposed to be freedom of expression. But you express how you feel, and then I need to be able to express how I feel about that. And then we meet in the middle, and like I said earlier, leave that space for respect. He said he wanted to. Thomas Jolly said we wanted to include everyone. As simple as that. In France, we have freedom of creation and artistic freedom. In the scene, Butch was wearing a silver, I don't know who Butch is, I'm kind of jumping around here, but Butch was wearing a silver halo-like crown and sitting at the center of a long table flanked by drag queens who break into song when French actor Philippe Catherine suddenly appears, painted blue and wearing only some strategically placed flowers. And I'm looking at a still right now again, and it does, to me, it resembles the Last Supper, but hey, have at it. Like, it's not my cup of tea, but have at it.
Here's the thing. When he came down and they unveiled him as Derisius, that part right there became what the director was trying to express. Gotcha. That part. Before that part, you're sitting at the Last Supper. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like,
it looks like it's this person's last job.
Yeah, like I'm sitting there, like, yeah, but again, that falls off. Like, the best comment I've ever heard anybody ever say from, and this is coming from a show you love this show, the Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Beth, right?
Yeah.
The best comment she's ever said was when she was arguing with that Karen lady. She goes, "Lady, you crave trouble. You just don't want resistance."
Yes.
That sums it up completely. We as a country crave trouble, but God forbid there's resistance.
Yeah.
Then we start fucking running. Why? If you want trouble, be ready for the resistance. If you're going to be an artist, if you're going to express, you're going to get resistance. Be ready for it. Like, I know I'm going to piss somebody off at this show. I know one day we're probably going to get canceled. We're going to be me.
We're going to get canceled.
You know what? Before I get canceled, there's going to be a motherfucking fight. You think I'm going to go down without a fight? That's another question, because I own up to what I said. For instance, before I even go in there, I wanted to touch base on the before I get lost in this. So the other issue I had with this whole thing, like I said, express what you got to express. I don't care. Freedom of speech, freedom of love, whatever. Express what you got to express and stick to the fight.
Yeah.
But pick a platform. Why would you do it at the Olympics?
At the fucking Olympics.
You're taking away the spotlight from these athletes who busted their ass, sacrificed so much to get to the Olympics. I mean, these guys and females work their asses off for this one moment, and it's just a moment. I mean, you're talking about years of work to jump over a pole, to jump in a pit of sand, to run a lap. You know what I mean? That lasts maybe 20 minutes to lift 450 pounds, clean sweep. That lasts minutes.
Yeah.
Versus, your platform. You want to send a message, send it on another platform. This is an opening ceremony to celebrate the athletes, not to celebrate whatever the fuck message you want to send. Yeah. You know what I mean? This isn't the Olympics of tell me how you fucking feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is the fucking Olympics. This is like hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. So have a ceremony that celebrates the Olympians, not whatever fucking message you want to send, be it whatever it is. I could give a shit what it is.
But I'm all about her message. I'm all about the message, and forgive me, I keep saying her because the director, I think, is a man, and I think it was I don't know. There's a woman's name that was involved in this as well. Forgive me. People need to understand. I jump around with my research because I like doing this in the moment. But I think her the want to have expression of diversity is very important, and I feel that itself is a pinnacle thing to have involved in the Olympics. So if you want to have a sequence that suggests that, awesome. But that little nugget where you decided to let's just push the envelope. Hey, I'll never tell an artist what they should or should not do, because as a creative and as an artist, how dare I? But you need to know what you're doing. You can't tell me you didn't. You got to read the room. And if you decide to do this at the Olympics and know that the controversy that comes with it, then stand by it. Don't backpedal.
Resistance.
And try to make it seem like that's not what I was doing. I was trying. Look, we're adults here, okay?
Yeah.
My eyes, they're not 20/20 unless I got my glasses on. But I saw what I saw. I know what I saw.
Like what are you fucking scared of? Just this, like you mimicked what you needed to mimic. Fucking stand up for it. You know what I mean? Fight for it, because come on, man.
Yeah.
You think being a Catholic, being a Christian gets us out of that boat of because they're pushing blasphemy? You think that gets us out of that boat?
Right.
Not really. Why?
Right.
Because Easter. Dropping the mic on Easter. Who the hell eats chocolate Jesus? Right? How many of you, raise your hands, as Christians, as Catholics, has eaten a chocolate Jesus?
Chocolate crucifixes.
Chocolate cross. There's Jesus on the cross, and you're fucking munching him down, while your kids are looking around for Easter eggs. You know what I mean? Even the ones that are like, oh, Easter is all about Jesus, as they're eating chocolate Jesus.
And it's not even like it's not even milk chocolate Jesus. It's dark chocolate Jesus, which is cool because it's more accurate. But I don't like dark chocolate.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's not even good chocolate. It's cheap chocolate. It's like cheap chocolate Jesus. So we're gonna represent our Lord with some knockoff chocolate while we're chopping his head off. What do you think that is? But you know what? Are we apologizing for it? Not really. We're just, here we go. Another Easter's going to come along. There's a truckload full of chocolate Jesus that we're going to be chewing down. So we're not, like they said, we all do wrong. We all do sins, and that's, like I said, we're not out of that boat of blasphemy. So we can't be throwing stones, while we ourselves are, like Jesus said it perfectly. First one without sin, throw stone.
Right.
I guarantee you, if he would have said that today, people with sin would still be throwing stones because they themselves believe.
Yeah.
As they're chewing chocolate Jesus, throwing the stone, like, oh yeah, no, yeah. I'm not doing anything wrong.
I ate the head already. Prove this was you, Jesus. I ate the head already. No, but like my beef is this, and then I want to move on. My beef is this. Really is. I always have my own personal bones to pick with, like, the Catholic religion and the Vatican and shit. But, like, I can't knock Catholics and Christians for having a problem with this in the context of,
no, I get it.
You did something that's very offensive.
Yep.
My thing is just stand by what the fuck you're doing, because I do believe, look, like I said, I'm open-minded. Drag queens and all that. That's not my bag. It's not. But I feel that they deserve representation, and I feel that they deserve to be included in the conversation. They are people. What I mean by my bag is, like, I don't go and watch drag shows. That's just not me. But I don't feel like they should not be. And I feel like the Catholic and Christian response is heavily influenced by the fact that there were drag queens and transgender participants.
Oh, that's the first domino. After
sequence.
that,
right?
After that, the dominoes started falling.
You gave them ammunition when you did this sequence, and now you're not standing by it. So anyway, moving on. What do we got here, dude? Fireman's jacket, blah blah blah. We did that. Summer Olympics. Yes, dude. We're like 2 weeks behind because we took a 2-week break. But right when we started our vacation break, I was in Florida. I got off the plane and I found out that while I was in the air with my wife, President of the United States decided he will not be running for a second term. He is stepping down because he's old as fuck.
Yeah. Well, we also found out that he was also locked out for 7 days for Apple and wasn't able to re-register to run again. So
yeah.
So Kamala's like, oh, fucking hell, let me do it.
Kamala's like, this is your first time with an Apple product? Joe Biden's like, I'm a Galaxy guy. No, but listen, one of the things that Alexandra and I were talking about watching the debate really was the eye opener for me. Where I was like, dude, you
debate?
can't put sentences together. You're not. And listen, politics and views and sides aside, you may not have liked Joe Biden, or maybe you did, but 15, 20 years ago, he could really, he was witty and he was quick. You may not have agreed with him, but he could articulate and converse and debate. He was a fucking mummy up there. And it was like, what's going on? What is going
Somebody's
on?
Somebody's feeding him tapioca pudding. Well, I got the tapioca here. Trump's like, I got the best tapioca in the world. The best.
Well, Trump sees something like that, and he's going to attack. And even if you, like, I'm not a big Trump fan at all. But when he sees that, I can't blame the guy for being like, look, this is who I'm debating. So him stepping down, it was way too late. I don't know how this is going to look. I mean, we're talking about 4 months until November. Am I looking at that right? October, November, December.
I've been keeping track, and I don't know, man. Things now they're head to head right now. So Trump's got some work to do. But in my opinion, I could give two shits about it. All I know is it was like the debate was a clusterfuck. This is a clusterfuck. What's happening in the future is a clusterfuck. Like, it's just like, I just sit back, watch the show, and watch it all burn.
look, I don't,
basically where I'm at right now.
The reason why I wanted to bring it up was because it's not politically based. It's more like, where was this fucking attention to detail a year ago? Like, you didn't see this guy was not able to he was walking up steps and tripping.
He was walking up. Where am I going? Where am I going?
He just looks like his whole body's stiff. Right now. Look, God forgive me. I know I'm going to get there one day, God willing. But my God, guy, you got to know when the fucking... And he was... I tell you, if his party did not say, dude, you got to fucking bounce, he would have kept riding out into the sunset.
It's the same thing that happens when you tell elderly person they can't drive anymore. They're gonna fight you until the end, until they wrap it around a tree or park it on the sidewalk. You know what I mean?
You're not gonna wrap a car around the tree because you got to get that bitch up at least to fucking 50 miles an hour.
Or parking it inside a 7-Eleven, which has happened many a times, and they walk out. Oh, I don't know what happened. I guess maybe it's time. Well, right now, buddy, we're inside the 7-Eleven. I don't think he even knows he quit. I think honestly, Biden's like, I think he still thinks he's president.
Biden's still strategically, he's still planning out his next debate. Come on, Vice President Kamala and everybody, the campaign's in another room. Like, he's by himself, like, and this is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do this. And what do you mean? What do you mean I step down?
It's not even an oval room. It's like a folded chair with a flat table. And they got crayons on the table. He's like, yeah, President Biden. Oh, yes, I'm still president. Here's your tapioca.
In the garage. They made him an office in the garage.
In the garage. He's got to use his little scooter to get around the White House. He's like, oh, sir, you had the President Air Force One on wheels. He's running around little scooter trying. Oh my God, man! Somebody get him away from that fucking nuclear button, dude. Because I'm telling you, he's gonna set a cup of coffee on there, and that's it. That ends everything, man. But anyway, yeah, at this point right now, like I said, they got her. They got her sub. I feel like this is sports, man. They got Team A out, and they're subbing in. So, but from what I see, man, it looks like she's pushing ahead. So I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Honestly, could care less because at this point we're already screwed to begin with.
Yeah, it's a shit show. It's like 2020 all over again. It's like and it's just sloppy. It looks dumb. It doesn't. It's like, this is our country. Like, this is. It's like, for crying out loud.
It's, you know what's sad? It's not even ours. I mean, I hate to say it's not even, it's the politicians because, like I said, it's not ours. We pay into it.
Yeah.
We pay
Yeah.
into it, but is it ours? No, not really. We have to literally crash the market and crash everything for us to even recover, because at this point, they ain't shit, dude. Like I said, we're in the 7-Eleven right now. We got driven into the 7-Eleven. We're all standing there with our slushies.
With the slushies, yeah, and the hot dogs or the big pretzels.
Well, this is us.
Yeah, he's crashed into
here.
the 7-Eleven and he gets out and he's like, okay, Kamala, you drive. And Kamala's getting out, stepping over broken glass, magazines, the 2 liters of soda, takes the cakes
I gotta get
all
the shit because I gotta get ready. Get ready for the fucking road trip.
I got 3 months. Oh my God.
And then there's Trump at the gas station pumping his truck like, yes, this is the best truck I've ever had in my life. Trying to run away from the paddy wagon. Oh my God.
Man.
I tell you what, this now that Kamala's here, man, it's not even a presidential race anymore. It's honestly, what's that show? What's that fucking show? Law and Order. Now it's Law and Order. It's no longer fucking a presidential race. It's a show. It's Law and Order show. All I'm waiting, every time I see their faces on screen, all I hear is ding, 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 ding. Because you got a prosecutor and a freaking felon right now going at it. Oh my God. It's going to be a trip, dude. I'm waiting for Ice Cube to show up and start interviewing.
Yeah, you should have stepped down a long time ago. What was you thinking? So Dave, circling back to our last episode, we had a bit where we talked about Isaiah Bradley, I believe, which was the Black Avenger. We were suggesting that he was the first Captain America. Not Avenger, forgive me. And somebody stepped in one of our TikTok reels and pretty much was starting to throw his 2 cents in there and was disagreeing. And me being,
and I'm glad he did.
And me being I am too. And I'm drawing a blank on the gentleman's tag. Forgive me.
Oh, it was uneventfully.
Yes,
I got it here. Yeah,
uneventfully. He jumps in and he gives his 2 cents, and me being like, I don't know anything about this, so I'm kind of like, you know what? I don't know what he's saying, but I know he's saying Dave's wrong, and that's fucked up. So I jump in. Because I saw you responding, and I kind of like dittoed it. I was like, yeah, what he said.
Dittoed it.
But what happened was,
I'm trying to find his name so I can correctly say
uneventfully. Look at us, we're so unprofessional, Dave.
Yeah, we're so organized, man. This is why he corrects us, because we're so
He's probably watching right now, like, yeah, these fucks are going to talk about me.
He's like,
me,
Jesus
and they're not
fucking
even,
Christ, this is what I'm talking about right here.
They're not even fucking ready.
You know what's pretty cool is that was a great
uneventfully average
conversation. There we go.
He leaves a comment that says, "Tell me you don't actually read comics, but want to push a narrative without telling me." LOL. And of course, you and uneventfully average have a back and forth, some words back.
It was actually, and you know what? This is what we need. The back and forth and the corrections. Like when we first slapped this together, and I said it in the beginning too. I was like, I needed to do more research, but I did. Yeah. I screwed up. I said, my verbiage was completely off. Now I still don't take back what I said about being the first Captain America for us to be represented. But in what he's saying is correction. Steve Rogers was the first Captain America, so the soldier serum was already created. Isaiah, since the soldier serum was created and was given to Steve Rogers, that was the only serum there was. Then afterwards, a few years later, they were trying to recreate the soldier serum, so they were using African Americans as test subjects, and after that was Isaiah being Captain America was born. So we were going back and forth together, and like I said, I'm grateful that he came through, or he or she came through, and corrected the situation, because he represented, the thought process of comic book love. Like he's like, I want you to represent Steve Rogers and give credit to where credit is due. And at first I was like, what are you talking? And then when I read into it, I was like, oh shit, he's right. I'm not giving the right credit to the right people, and to do it justice. So he set me straight, and he gave me the platform to be able to explain myself, and I was able to hear what he was talking about. And I do agree with what he did, and like I said, I'm to this day grateful for that, because he's able to get the conversation was, we were able to get ourselves out of the picture and focus on the topic at hand. Because at first, when he was like pushing a narrative, I'm like, what the fuck you talking about pushing a narrative?
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, wait a minute. I see what he's saying. And it took me out of myself to really focus on what he was trying to say as far as the comic books. And he's right. That guy, or like I said, man or female.
Yeah, we don't know.
He is,
Uneventfully average could be a
yeah.
man or a woman or they. Yeah.
Yeah. But regardless, that person was able to draw it back and say, look, this is what I want you to represent. I want you to state the facts, clear it up, represent, give credit where credit is due. So, and, I'm a man of my word. And I told him I'll give him props, or give her props for, setting me straight, giving me online. So that's great. I'm glad he did that, because you're right. Steve Rogers was the first Captain America, and Isaiah was a follow-up to Captain America. So, but for us, he was the first representation for what America is. Also,
Yeah.
there's the true American dream, but there's also the nitty-gritty of what we go through on a daily day basis. So it's a great, I still stand by it. Still a great comic book. Everybody should check it out and read it. And you see for yourself the storyline and how it proceeds from there. So again, shout out to Uneventfully Average for setting it straight, and I appreciate that. Keep doing that. I will always accept that.
Well, yeah, that just shows growth, and I'm just being humbly honest when I say that I didn't know what was what, and I was just going in there ready to swing. Like,
you swung back like you started.
I did a cheap shot. I was just like, yeah, motherfucker. And I was like, back.
What are you doing? And that's what we need. We need that. We need more often, more edgy. More. You said it perfectly earlier. More of a intellectual argument.
Yes.
As opposed to we set our feelings aside and really focused on the topic.
That's what we are.
And
here
that's what
we're
missing.
Church. We are intellects at Bro Church, and we will have intellectual conversations when we want to.
We're something.
Dave, you wanted to bring up survival prepping and
you're gonna freaking need it.
But
the way things are going,
Dave's gonna have a bunker built in his backyard in the next 3 months.
No, survival thing. What's funny is me and Ronnie got into prepping, a few years back. Of course, I dabbled in it, but she took over with the stockpiles and getting things ahead of the game, because she saw this shit coming, before COVID even came out. So we were stockpiling through, and we started getting more into prepping, researching, and just because we were seeing what was happening, outside. Like I said, we're not very political, because once you start diving into politics and making it your life, you're going to lose sight of what's actually happening. So when you step out of that realm, you see the bullshit. You see you kind of see the future of what's happening, because there is timelines and there's being a repeat. So prepping is life survival, being surviving the everyday, surviving the future, surviving months at a time, with what you have and what you can accomplish. Growing your own plants, filtering your own water, having a get home bag, having a if shit hits the fan bag. There's different things, and everybody should actually look into it, because it's actually pretty fun. You get to learn survivalist tricks. You get to learn how to start fires, because I guarantee if the lights go out, people will lose their shit.
Yeah.
When there's no Wi-Fi, there's no internet, when there's no light, people will lose their shit. I mean, look what happened to COVID. there were a lot of people trapped in their homes. They couldn't go out. They didn't even know how to make rice.
Yeah.
They don't even know how to boil water.
Yeah.
You know, how long you think they'd have survived? So it's a good practice to get into, you know, just.
Well, I'm sure it helps.
survival.
It helps keep your sanity about you too, because when you brought up
hell
COVID,
yeah.
one of the things I thought of was, and I experienced this here with my wife, where my wife is more of an extrovert, I'm an introvert. So when COVID took place, and I never want to paint a beautiful light about COVID, but when I say and when I tell you that I was like, oh, we gotta stay inside and not go nowhere, bet.
Oh, Ronnie was the same way.
Where my wife was like, what are we doing? I can't do that. So I would think that survival prepping in a way kind of keeps your brain operating and keeping your sanity about you. You're even when you're inside stuck or you have to navigate a certain way, you still have structure that keeps your wits about you. I'm curious though, do you think that like this survival prepping thing kind of reminds me when we started the Bro Church 10 years ago and you brought in the zombie apocalypse.
The zombie survival book. I still have it too. I should have fucking grabbed it. I'm telling you, man. I still have the fucking book too. It's a great book.
But I just feel like it ties into
I'm reading
that.
it. Yeah, what's funny is I'm fucking reading it and I'm sitting there like,
I've read this before.
Actually, this fucking makes sense. Like, aside from the zombies, like, this just got some ground on this. All right, but believe it or not, that's what actually started it in my head. Reading that book, like, oh, maybe this is something I should learn. So I expanded from there. I started, buying more survival books and doing some more research and just be like, oh shit. And then when Ronnie got into it, it just exploded from there because she started learning more about water filtration, learning about how to grow your own stuff, make your own food. She started jarring, learning how to jar, making her jams and stuff like that. So I'm like, well, I think we got something here. So so when the pricing went up with everything like inflation, she called it. She knew it. So having a stockpile actually, counterbalanced extra costs of groceries, extra costs of food, because now we can go to the stockpile, grab what we need. If we can't afford it this week on groceries, we can just go to the stockpile and grab it from there. So. But I do remember that book because I'm telling you, it's what started it. I know where it is too. It's right in my freaking the side of my where I sleep.
We'll have to revisit that and officially put that on the Bro Church podcast. But I also feel like you kind of like look, man. I don't know if anybody, for those that know Dave, I feel like whenever something like this comes up, Dave gets excited. Like it's almost like he wants it to happen so that he can.
Who doesn't? If you're not a fucking prepper, you ain't a prepper if you don't want shit to hit the fan, man.
He just wants to be Will Smith, I Am Legend, just walking with a dog, like looking through Walmart to find shit and bring back home when I got hangers.
Because you got all this work and you're like, I guess we're still civilized. I guess shit hasn't fucking burned out. Whatever. I mean, is that a zombie? No, it's fucking Biden. Never mind.
I tell you what, though, dude, when the power goes out and you're using candles, it's like you become all of a sudden you're like a hunter. You're like, what else do we got?
Primal, right?
So we got no electric. We can't stay warm. We have a propane fireplace, and one night the power went out and we were all the kids and myself with Alexandra we're in the family room huddled on the couch in front of this fireplace, and I remember looking out the window and it's pitch black dark because the entire neighborhood, and I was like, this is it, what are we gonna do now? And I was like, and it's hard for me because I have an in-ground pool and I'm not showboating. I bring that up because I'm like, we're out here surviving, and I look over, there's a fucking pool.
As your fucking duck floaty is going across your pool.
Those fuckers don't know what's going on in here.
That's drinking water. That's not a pool. That's where I drink my water.
That's
you're laying on it.
That's where we bathe in the morning.
That's what we paid. It'd be like Rambo, man. The first Rambo. This isn't your war. It's never over.
This isn't my war. That is all that we have here, Dave. Is there anything you'd like to bring up in the wrap up part? I have something I would like to bring up.
No, go ahead. I think I pretty much hit all the points. It's a good therapy.
I wanted to use just real quick. I don't plan on doing this often, but I have a lot of appreciation and respect for this person here. Her name is Evita Colon. I interviewed Evita and Solis, her wife, a couple times on the podcast that I had, JMC Podcast. She's a spoken word artist here in Lancaster, and she's phenomenal. She's doing a lot of dope shit. She just put out an album, spoken word album. It's called Alchemy of the Space Between. I just listened to it, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because she's been an intricate part in helping me navigate and set up how I want to go about JMC Collective and mentoring. And so for those that are listening, I'm going to put this in the details for you to go check it out and listen to it. I highly encourage. It's really deep. It's raw. She's an advocate and a wordsmith, but an advocate for women of color, black women especially, and the work that she does is so dope, and there's no filter. She's raw, and what we do here on Bro Church, there's no filter. We're very raw, and so I just wanted to salute to Evita Colon, and I want to tag her and this album in the show notes. And if you do not have anything else, my brother-in-law, that is it. That's all I have here for episode 2.
I just want to apologize to Evita if she's mentoring us in Bro Church, man. That's got a lot of work to do.
Well, she's not mentoring us. I don't think I could afford her to mentor us, dude. She's going to see this.
She's going to come out with another album just going to be like, fuck.
No, I don't think I can do that, dude. That's my brother-in-law. That's Dave. I'm sorry.
Yeah. She's gonna be like, no more.
Oh man! All right, brother. Well, that's it. I think we were able to knock that out pretty smoothly.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching.
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to put, I need to start remembering to do this in the beginning, but obviously follow us on the socials. Look up Bro Church, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Where else are we? Twitter, X. Working
did you hear about that?
About the what?
Twitter X. About what's his name? Elon Musk. How he was screaming about freedom of speech, but then he cancels out the support for Kamala.
No, I didn't. See?
We'll talk about that next time.
Well, I guess we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and thank you all for your support.
Yeah.
We're going to try to do this weekly, if not bi-weekly. But until then, we'll see you next time. Peace.